still keeping with the political mood in the country, I want to just have a conversation around the economy and politics. And joining me right now is John Rogers, who is the Managing Director for Mentor Management Limited, one of the firms that has an interest in handling properties in the country and across the region. And perhaps, Roger, what do you make of the political climate in the country? Does it have a dent on investor confidence?
Absolutely. It's most certainly having an impact, and I think everybody in every industry for that matter is certainly feeling the impact of that now. The demonstrations on the street, it's naturally creating unrest with investors and adding to their risk profile when they look at projects in Kenya and even East Africa for that matter.
So really, if you were to give us an assessment of what is in the mind of an investor right now who is looking at setting up a multi-million investment, will they still carry on or will they consider another destination?
Well, you basically have two investor profiles when you look at Kenya and East Africa. You have the Kenyan investor who is time-served. They understand the market, they understand the political situation, and they take a long-term view in any development that they undertake. So while this is certainly an inconvenience, they don't see it as a game changer or a stopper. I think when you look at the international market who wish to move in and make investments, they certainly see this as a huge risk to them and their investment, because quite often they represent another parties and they have obligations and responsibilities associated with that.
And in the eventuality that the elections do not happen, what does this mean for the investor community?
I think the investor community will certainly take stock. I think the fact that the Christmas period is coming and it's a traditional slowdown, they will use that to their advantage. And I think in January and February, you will see most of these individuals start to make decisions and say, okay, we continue on regardless of the political situation, or they say, let's just shelve it for 6 months and take another view at that time.
It is interesting because your firm is in the business of property management. And of course, there's a lot of demonstrations happening right now. This sort of affects even how you run your affairs at the end of the day. And what sort of mitigations are you considering right now?
So MML is a project and construction management business, and we've been in Kenya and East Africa for 30 years. So this is actually our 6th election that we are currently going through. So we basically don't take any particular mitigated actions. We understand what happens. We try to manage our projects as best we can through this time, and we try not to get involved in the various divides and kind of continue with our very basic business of delivering construction projects.
So what is in the horizon for the property market, looking at the number of investors that have been showing an interest in East Africa?
We feel it's actually amazing at the moment. So we believe the interest that's been shown and the opportunity and potential in Kenya is absolutely second to none. The international community are looking at Kenya as the hub for East Africa. They believe that the workforce here is absolutely, fantastic, the quality, the standards, and the enthusiasm to invest and to get the returns that they seek. They realize that East Africa and Kenya in particular is the place to be.
So let's take a bigger approach towards this conversation. In the eventuality that the potential for violence is quite high right now, the country is a bit of charged. And for project managers, how big a risk is this?
It's certainly a risk, and it's starting to impact our program and our delivery schedules at the moment. So it is, especially with such things as today where staff are taking time off to demonstrate. So the impact is definitely real, it's definitely occurring, but we are realistic as well. It's a necessity, it's going to happen, and instead of us trying to put measures in to stop it, we're better off to facilitate it in a safe and proper manner and discuss with the client how best to overcome this and how to recoup when things do settle down.
Assuming the demonstrations fail to stop, what does this eventually do to the line of business you are in?
It's going to continue to impact, but at the end of the day, everything has to come to a close, and this will eventually become resolved and life will get back to normal. And it's important that people take that outlook and take the positive from it, that this is the place to be and it will pick up again.
All right. And I just want to get your parting shot right now. What areas do you foresee growth to be coming from as we move forward?
Oh, in the Kenya in particular, I see industrial and logistics being a big one, so I do. I see retail not so much, but education quite a lot, actually. We're getting quite a lot of interest in that sector. And we also see kind of middle-income resi still starting to show good strength in that department as well, that sector.
All right. Many thanks, John Rogers, for speaking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
A pleasure having you on the program this afternoon. And of course, you'll be staying on top of that story on the NASA demonstrations and what is the impact it is having on the economy and